Okay, we are going to go through some factoring techniques. And this first one is called chunking, and you can see more examples on page 290 in your book. For this one, we look at the first term, and if it's a perfect square, we're going to rewrite it as something to the power of 2. So 9 is a perfect square. I know the square root is 3, so I'm going to rewrite this as 3x to the power of 2. We're going to let u be equivalent to 3x. So the next thing we need to do is we need to rewrite this term with something times 3x. Well, 18 is 6 times 3, so we're going to change that to 6 times 3x. We're going to leave the 5 alone because it doesn't have a variable. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to substitute. So anywhere we see a 3x, we're going to replace it with a u. I see a 3x here. I'll replace it with a u. I see a 3x here. I'm going to also replace it with a u. And now what I've made is a nice trinomial that's easy to factor. So we are going to factor. We know that the only way to make u squared is u times u. For the constants, we need numbers that will multiply to give us this constant of 5. And at the same time, they'll add to give us that 6 in the middle with our like terms. So we're going to take 5 and 1. So we have factored. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to substitute back. So anywhere we see a u, we're going to replace it with a 3x. Here's another one. And we have just factored. So make sure that means that this 3x plus 5 times 3x plus 1 is going to be equivalent to this starting trinomial that we had. For this next example, we have a 4x squared as our leading term. So we're going to rewrite that as 2x all to the power of 2. So we're going to let u equal 2x this time. And so that means it's our job to rewrite this middle term as something times 2x. Negative 8 can be made by negative 4 times 2x. And again, we'll keep that constant a constant, 3. We're going to substitute. So we're going to change any 2x to a u. And again, we've made something that's nice to factor. We're going to factor this. We know again that u squared can only be made by u times u. This time we have a positive 3. So we're looking for numbers that multiply to give us a positive 3, and they have to add to give us this negative 4 in the middle. Well, the only way they can multiply to give a positive and add to give a negative is if we make them both negative. And the only factors of 3 are 3 and 1. So we have factored that successfully. We're going to now substitute back. So we're going to replace our u's with a 2x. And I'll replace this other u with a 2x. This next factoring is called a perfect trinomial square. And these examples go along with page 291. So for this one, you want to be able to recognize that the first and last terms are perfect squares. And we're going to start by finding the square root of them. So 25x squared is going to have a square root of 5x. And 49 is going to have a square root of 7. And we want to make sure that the pattern works, because when you were multiplying these, since you were multiplying something times itself here, our like terms would have been the same. And so the middle term, this one, should equal 2 times your first square root times your second square root. If it does, then that means that those like terms were the same, and when you added them, they doubled. If it doesn't, then this is not a trinomial square. But if we check with this one, 70x does equal 2 times 5x times 7. So we're going to write our answer. We're going to take our first square root. We're going to take our second square root. And we're going to take the sign on that middle term. So 25x squared plus 70x plus 49 is equal to 5x plus 7 times itself, or to the power of 2. Looking at this next example, I see that 4x squared is a perfect square. We're going to take the square root of it. That's going to be 2x. We have another perfect square here, and the square root is 5. We're going to do that check again. Does our middle term equal 2 times our square roots? And 20 does equal 2 times 2x times 5. So we're going to write our answer again, taking our first square root, taking our second square root, and taking the sign in the middle. Here we go with factor by grouping. I'm going to show you 2 different ways of doing this. The first one goes along with what the book shows on page 292 if you need extra examples. So factor by grouping is used when you have 4 terms. You're going to cut it into 2 groups. We're going to look at just this first group and decide what the GCF is. Remember that the GCF is the greatest common factor. So between 4 and 12, I know that I can factor out a 4. I have x to the third on the first term and x to the second on the second term. I can only take at most 2 x's because that's all that the second term has. So I'm going to take an x to the power of 2 also. Now, we're going to write what's left over because we're doing the opposite of distribution here. We're looking at comparing this first term to what we have here, and it looks like if you take 4x to the third and you get rid of 4 and the x squared, you're going to be left with 1x. If you check with multiplication, if we were to multiply 4x squared times our x, we should get back to that 4x to the third, which we do. We're going to do the same thing with the next term. So if we look, we have 12x squared. Well, 12 divided by 4, I would need a 3 here. And x squared, we already have x squared, so we don't need any more x's there. Then we look at the second group. The second group, I see that they're both negative, so I'm going to take out a negative. And 49 and 147, it looks like they have a common factor of 49. I'm going to take and look at what I need to multiply. Well, for negative 49 times blank has to give me back to this negative 49x. That means I'm going to need an x there. And for the second one, I'm going to need a positive 3, which works out well because with factor by grouping, if the parentheses at this point don't match, that means you can't keep going, or you might have factored out something incorrectly. We're going to see that those parentheses do match, and actually we're going to factor out that GCF, which is a binomial, so it looks a little different, but we're doing the same thing that we did at the first step. We're just taking out that factor of x plus 3, and what's left is we had a 4x squared here and a negative 49. And that's it with factor by grouping. But if we're factoring this trinomial, remember that we need to keep going until we can't factor anymore. So I'm noticing that this term here has a power of 2. I'm going to leave the x plus 3 alone because it is a linear function and it cannot be factored further. But I think that 4x squared minus 49 can be factored further. And I'm also noticing that it's a binomial. It has 2 terms. It has a minus in the middle, and it does have perfect squares of 4 and 49. So that's going to be difference of squares. With difference of squares, we're going to take the square root. So for 4x squared, I know the square root is 2x. I'm going to put in each of these binomials, and I'm going to take the square root of 49, which is 7. And because there's no middle term here, there's technically a 0x in there, and so we want the middle terms to cancel and turn into 0, so we're going to make one of these a positive and one a negative, so that if you did distribute, that middle term would cancel. So this is the completely factored form of that original polynomial that we started with. Okay, we're going to take a look at this factor by grouping with a different method. So the other method is going back to our regular multiplication table. We're just going to put all of those terms back where they would have been. I'm going to put that leading term here. I know the last term should go there, and it really doesn't matter which one you put where. I'm going to put the 12x squared there and the negative 49x here. And then you're going to proceed to just take out the GCFs. Essentially, you're doing the same work that we did with my last factor by grouping example. It just looks a little different in how you're organizing your thoughts. When I'm looking for this spot, I'm looking for the GCF of 4x cubed and 12x squared, which would be a 4x squared. And remember that you could keep going with the GCF and you'll get the same answers. But at this point, you could also use your multiplication. Whatever I put here, I know that it needs to multiply by that 4x squared to get the 4x cubed in that column. So I know that I need to put an x there because that's how I can change that power to a 3. And you'll keep going the same way. I know that x times negative 49 will give us negative 49x. So I'm going to put a negative 49 there. And we're going to fill this in with a positive 3 because I know I need the 4x squared here times the 3 to give us the 12x squared. And you can see that you still get 4x squared minus 49 and x plus 3 as your two binomial factors. We're going to go through one more example like the book had. So again, if you see 4 terms, you can split it in half. I'm looking at that first group and I see that they have a GCF of x squared, leaving x plus 2. And the second group has a common factor of negative 81, also leaving x plus 2. I see that the parentheses are the same, so I can factor out that x plus 2. And what's left will be x squared minus 81. And again, I'm noticing if we look at our binomial here, we do have a power of 2. I'm going to leave x plus 2 alone because it already is factored down to a binomial with a power of 1. X squared minus 81, they're both perfect squares. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 81 is 9. And again, I'm going to put 1 plus, 1 minus for difference of squares. And there is our factored form. We can also factor higher order polynomials using the same quadratic method we've been using. These go along with the examples on page 294 in the book. So we have a trinomial. We can factor this by thinking about what we need to multiply together to get that x to the 4th. Well, just like x times x is x squared, we can take an x squared and multiply by another x squared. So I'm going to put an x squared in there. X squared times x squared, since you're adding the exponents, becomes a 4. The constants that we need here and here, well, they're going to need to multiply still to get that negative 12 and add to get that negative 1 in the middle. You can make a list. You can go through all the factors of negative 12. I am going to put 4 and 3 in here. And since we wanted them to add to get that negative 1, I'm going to make the 4 a negative and the 3 a positive. Just to check, negative 4 times 3 will give us the negative 12, and negative 4 plus 3 will give us the negative 1. So there is factoring with the quadratic method. I'm seeing that these both have a power of 2, so I should check to see if we can keep factoring. This one here does have a perfect square with a minus, so I can factor that using difference of squares as x plus 2 times x minus 2. However, the x squared plus 3, that one has a plus, so it's not difference of squares. I'm going to leave that as x squared plus 3. So there is our factored form if we stay in the real number realm. For this one, I see that it has a leading coefficient of a 3, so I'm going to use my multiplication table. I'm going to put that first term in and my last term in. And remember that we need to find factors of both of them. So 3 times 5 will give us 15. So I need factors of 15, or numbers that multiply to give us 15. And at the same time, those like terms would have added to give us 16. So the only numbers that will work are 15 and 1. And because they're like terms, they have to add to give us this x squared. So they have to have an x squared, because the only way to get that 16x squared in the middle is if we had 15x squared plus 1x squared. Then we're going to proceed to find the GCFs. I'm going to start here. Doesn't really matter where you start. I see I have a 3x to the fourth and an x squared. They only have an x squared in common. After that, remember, you can keep going with the GCF, or you can use your multiplication. I'm going to start here because I know that I need to multiply that x squared that we just talked about by 3x squared if I want that 3x to the fourth. I know that I just need a 1 there, and it looks like I need a 5 there to make it work. So x squared plus 5 times 3x squared plus 1 will be our factored form.